Hello and welcome to Lovely English Stories. Thank you for stopping by. This story is written for upper intermediate to advanced English learners. Ready? Let's get started. B2 C1 English Story. Exploring Options. The world and how we live has changed massively in the last 50 or so years. Back in the 1950s or 1960s, it wasn't uncommon to be told by your teachers that you had three options after leaving school: office, shop, or factory. These days, the world has opened up. We have options galore. This can be both an incredible but also overwhelming thing. When we have so many options, how do we know which ones to explore? Of course, options can differ depending on where you live in the world, how you've been brought up, how much money you have, and the culture around you. In the UK, there are many options available to people, and sometimes it can get a little much. I know many people, including myself, who have suffered from feeling overwhelmed and not knowing which way to go or which path to take. There's also the pressure that society repeatedly puts on our shoulders. We often feel we must complete certain goals by predefined ages. We are constantly being indirectly told that we should go to college, then university, then meet someone special, then buy a house, get married, and have a family. It's a lot of pressure when we might not even know what job we want, never mind if we want any of those things at all. I always look at people who have gone off the beaten track and feel incredibly inspired. I love reading about women who have gone on to achieve amazing things without feeling the need to get married or have a family to look after. I also find myself being inspired by men who decide to go against the grain and live abroad or explore the world. For me, I always struggled with the notion that I had to decide my future at the age of 15. In England, we do exams called GCSEs when we are in our last year of school. After that, we can go on to further training, get a job, or do high-level exams called A-levels. We have to decide this when we are only 15. Since being a little girl, I always had the dream to go to university. I also knew that I wanted to study A-levels at college. The only problem was, I didn't realize that my A-level choices would determine what I could pursue at university. Many young adults in England also get stumped by this. For example, if they decide they want to study medicine, but they didn't do science topics at A-level, then they simply won't get on the courses. It's a real shame, but I do think career advice is better these days than it was when I was a kid. At least, I hope it is. After my A-levels, I went on to pursue my dreams and I attended university. It wasn't the best university in the world, but I had a fantastic time. I met some wonderful people and lived a typical student lifestyle. I partied, I had fun, I joined clubs, I had part-time jobs, and I studied modules and courses that were my passion. I'm not sure I've ever felt as satisfied as I did during that time. I truly enjoyed every single day of my university experience. The only problem is that in England, Going to university can get awfully expensive. Some courses are cheaper in Scotland and Wales. I heard that in countries like Germany that there are no course fees. Imagine that! At the moment, the average course in England costs £9,000 a year. It's such a lot of money. People take out government loans to pay the fees, and then they repay them via their wages when they start work. In the final year of university, students are bombarded with messages about applying for graduate jobs, graduate schemes, and more. It's quite confusing. Most of us just wanted a break after studying so much, but at the same time, most people needed cash, so were constantly searching for prospective jobs ready for when they completed their courses. Generally, it's when people have completed their studies, whether that's after school, college, or university, that exploring options becomes a reality. What should we do next? What skills should we use? Where can we go? And what can we do? We're constantly told that the world is our oyster, and to an extent, it is true. But how can the world be open to you if you have no cash or means of travel? Or perhaps you don't have that desire. Perhaps you want to live a quiet life with a steady job that pays into a decent pension. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. When I finished university, I thought about all my options. I spent many hours in front of my computer Googling, researching, and thinking about my plans for the future. I felt incredibly swamped by all the possibilities, but money stopped me from making a lot of decisions. I don't come from a privileged background. My parents worked hard to get to where they are, and along with my siblings, I have always worked alongside my studies. I always liked having the independence to earn cash. I spent it how I pleased. I kind of regret that now, though. If I hadn't wasted so much money, then my savings might look a little healthier these days. A lot of my friends seem to know what they wanted to do. They went on to further study to work within the healthcare sector, or they became teachers, and some of them decided to sack it all off and go travelling for a year or two. They were the lucky ones who had inheritance or savings from their parents. I knew I wanted to travel. I just didn't have the option to do it yet. I decided to explore a couple of careers. I worked in various jobs before landing on a role within a charity working with disabled adults. Most of the service users had been in terrible accidents as adults and had lost the use of parts of their bodies. Some of them had lost their speech or ability to move. This was never something I imagined doing when I made my A-level choices at the tender age of 15. I thought by the age of 21, I'd be an international pop star traveling the world in gold-plated jets and eating caviar on yachts in the Caribbean. But there's always time for that, isn't there? I know that I have options, and I feel happy to have them. I know I won't always do this job, even though it makes me happy for now. Helping other people can be incredibly rewarding. Now, my options consist of whether to stay in my current role, travel the world, save up to buy property, or live a quiet life. Of course, I have the option of superstardom, but that'll come when the time is right. I always try to say yes to things. I think it opens doors. But then again, sometimes it opens doors to so many options I don't know which one to explore. So I try to follow the path that feels right. I try to do what is best for me and those around me. That is what has led me to where I am today. I want to do the things my mother and grandmother never had the chance to do. You have to take the bull by the horns and try. If I don't like something, I simply don't do it again. At least I can say I have tried. Who knows what the future will bring? But one thing I know is that I will keep opening doors and exploring new options. After all, variety is the spice of life. Do you have options you'd like to explore? Tell us in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this lovely English story. Thank you for stopping by. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you soon.